gonna end up having to do the show at the thing. I didn't know it was as I don't know. I thought I was longer than usual for the
You say
neighborhood
what now?
association meeting.
Okay,
I said
guys,
I
you're
thought I
on.
was. Yeah,
You're
we see
on.
that now. He messy, man. I promise he messy. Oh man. Hold on, let me
Welcome,
mute this
welcome,
right
welcome.
fast. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome everybody. This is the Roundtable Talk Show platform on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. This is episode 43. And our episode is everybody mad, nobody watching. Everybody mad, nobody watching. So like I said, good evening to everybody. I definitely want to again welcome you back to another Tuesday on the Roundtable Talk. Um, yeah, this is definitely not about who's the loudest. We don't care about all that. It's not about who's right online because Facebook posts, that's just what they are. Facebook posts. But this episode is not to um, advance or show favor to a takeover. This episode is not anti-takeover. Um, this episode is about telling the 100% whole truth without shaming, without coddling, and without letting anybody off the hook, right? Because the attempted intervention by the Texas Education Agency, which is TEA, in Beaumont Independent School District and several other districts across the state of Texas has split this community, I know for sure, even more. And that split matters, y'all, because some people believe intervention is necessary to stop long term academic harm, right? Some believe um, that this takeover strips local voices and repeats harmful state patterns that we've seen in the past. And most people, if we're honest, are reacting emotionally without fully understanding what's already moved, what's still moving. Of course, is moving quietly, and what does not go back to normal no matter how the ruling lands. Okay. So tonight we'll slow this down as much as we possibly can. And hopefully we place responsibility where it belongs. One thing I definitely want to do is keep the youth. The right now, the future is definitely going to be at the center of this particular show. Let me bring in the round table. Of course, you know I came with my crew. First, I got Dr. Catherine Campbell. She is Dr. Beauty, the strategist and someone who understands both systems and people. She of course doesn't just ask questions, she listens for what's underneath. So glad you are here, Queen. Say good evening to the people.
I'm happy to be here. Good evening, people.
Absolutely. People, when I tell y'all I saw my queen this evening and it made me excited, and she was walking upright at all. So I definitely want to tell y'all thank y'all for the prayers that we rendered in favor of Dr. Campbell. Next, of course, my big
Thank
brother
you.
Perry Busby. He'll definitely drop in here probably shortly. But he's the researcher, the writer, and the one who always traces power to paper, money, and policy. Especially if it's moving quietly, Perry already is already looking at it. And of course, my little brother, my battle buddy, veteran, community minded and straight talking, straight shooter. He brings the voice of folks who are tired of spin and want to know how this really hits real life, right? So say good evening to the people, Dustin.
What's up, people?
Yes, indeed. And my co-host, I'm sorry, my platform host, Tony Renfro. We definitely want to thank him for allowing us to be on the Knowledge is Power podcast live on this evening. And of course, you can catch him on Sundays at the Knowledge is Power podcast live, kicking knowledge as often as he possibly can. Family watching from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you listening or engaging with us on this evening. I want you to drop your city and let us know what your role is in the community, whether you're a parent, you're an educator, you're a student, high school, elementary, middle, or college bound student. If you are a veteran or a military, active duty military personnel, let us know. If you are a taxpayer, you don't deal with none of that. You just pay your taxes and keep quiet. Um, Let us know. This conversation requires attention 100%. The segment that we're going to be talking about is not broken down into we what we normally would do. This is a one straight segment, and um I want to call this segment while we wasn't looking: schools, state power, and the cost of disengagement. That's the name of this particular segment. But yeah, let me get to this right fast. The grounding point is um this is what's visible, right? Press conferences, statements, and social media takes. Everybody got it. Everybody saw it. Especially when it was announced that the district would be considered in a takeover, and then later found out that they did make the decision for the board of trustees and the superintendent to be removed from their positions and interim individuals put in place. So, again, like I said, we definitely want to dig into this as well as dig into the board and the superintendent appealing the decision that matters. Um, I definitely want you to know that matters. That appeals buys time, but afterwards we don't know, right? We got to watch this whole thing play out. But let's be honest with each other on this evening and from here on out. Appeals pause clocks. That's about it. They don't reset conditions. And the same questions are still sitting in the room, especially the classroom. So let's get to let's pull up these shots because I just really wanna get y'all's perspective on a lot of things. So Dr. Campbell, I'm gonna pull up your shot first. Just let me know if you're ready. I still hear the rock music in the background. I just noticed that. Dr. Campbell, when communities hear accountability, what's the difference between accountability that builds capacity and accountability that just enforces compliance?
I'm glad you asked.
You so?
Yes. So, accountability that builds capacity says, let's learn, let's fix what's broken, and grow our power. It gives people tools, skills, and a real voice in shaping the work. Accountability that enforces compliance says, follow the rules or get punished.
Hmm.
It keeps people in line, but never lets them lead, improve, or understand the bigger picture. One grows the community's muscle, the other just checks a box.
Golly. I mean, I don't know if they called it, but that's the key distinction, Queen. Capacity says we're going to help you get better, right? Compliance says we're going to make you obey. One produces growth, the other produces quiet, and quiet can look like progress until the numbers come back, right? And so, thanks for that information. I mean, it was short and to the point.
To the
Pow.
point.
And packed with
Wow.
kapow. You understand? Brother Perry, welcome, man. I thought I was gonna miss you this evening, but we are two of a kind of a Aries, and this is some good unane, like they say in the French. Like them Frenchmen say, there's some good unane. So I didn't know if you was gonna be here or not, brother. But I got that shot pulled up for you for sure. You ready for your shot, brother?
Okay, I'm ready.
That's a bet. So when you follow the money, the funding formulas, recapture contracts, all that hoopla that most of us don't pay attention to. And I said most, I didn't say some. I said most of us don't pay attention to. What does this situation actually reveal about who benefits when districts destabilize?
Well, at its core, it is a further um, sign of establishment trying to maintain so-called order.
Mm,
Uh, when you begin to look at what happens in a situation like this, it's the money. When you begin to look at the money, now we're talking fiscal plant management. We're talking everything from contracts from HVAC to plumbing to carpentry. We're when we talk about the policy, that's a change in curriculum, which means there's a change in the distribution of books and educational sources
what
and
books?
programming. Yeah.
They don't use books no more, brother. But go ahead, my bad.
Well, curriculum, should I say?
Right.
Curriculum. Uh, yeah. Well, and we can talk about the lack of books
Yes,
in this in
sir.
the process. It's not let's not say there are no books. There's plenty of books available,
Right,
but
right. They're not here.
but how
Yeah,
we're delivering education, right?
exactly.
And it further feeds into the myth uh uh within communities that struggle, uh that look to become more quote unquote a part of the mainstream, is that um it furthers a myth that opportunity is only through sports
Hmm.
or through educate or through higher learning, which now we're finding out that now many of our universities and colleges are now having to revise standards because incoming students lack of reading ability and general mathematical skills. I
Yeah.
read that this past week. Yes, universities are having to downgrade their standards because many of the incoming students, these Gen Zers, or the millennials, I get them mixed up. Uh, but many of them are coming into college uh without the ability not just to read but to comprehend a sentence.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and once you get to that, then that means lack of critical thinking skills,
Facts.
which now, we're now pushing out bodies into the workforce that lack the critical skills needed for industry.
Hmm.
I mean, I just happened to hear earlier today what the one of our city departments is looking for individuals, but when you look at the baseline requirements, which many of us I think didn't think were very stringent,
Hmm.
we now
Hmm.
see that that's amounting for many of our youth to climb.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
So when you talk about the destabilization, I mean there's the immediate destabilization and then the furtherance of a long going destabilization within communities of color and communities without the economic foundation to chart their own path.
Exactly. Exactly. And I will say that's where folks need to sit up. Destabilization creates opportunity for contractors, for vendors, for consultants, and outside control. And that doesn't mean reform isn't needed, but it means we better understand who profits from disorder or
Hmm.
disqualification. Just like I said, just like you mentioned about the stringent process that goes into hiring particulars within the city of Beaumont, especially those that are in place of what's considered emergency and or life saving measures. And so um, I agree with the lead there of not decreasing the standard uh, requirements for an individual to be in that life-saving space. But like I said, to even today, we have to expose our communities, our youth to that at a very young age. And so
Right.
I just want us to know that even though the district is coming in for whatever reasons they say that they are coming in, we still have our part to play as community. So, Dustin, you ready for your shots?
Yep.
So, for parents just trying to survive day to day, Dustin, what are the warning signs that control is sitting long before shifting long before anyone announces it publicly?
Well, I'm gonna hit you with three of them. Keep it nice and
Go
simple.
ahead. Yes, sir.
One, the first, significant financial mismanagement. We all remember that. Remember the director of finance and the comptroller of the ISD, embezzling something like 4 million, and then
Yes.
let's roll it back around. The big deal they made out of the electrical contractor defrauding the district for 1.2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's financial mismanagement.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to two. Chronic low academic performance. Could that be the kid's fault? Well, according to Dr. Kim, who is a PhD candidate in economics at the University of Houston, students who attend a school that closes during their K through 12 career may have lower test scores along with worse attendance and behavior in the short term, but also discovered in the long term they're less likely than their peers to complete college and have a job, and their earnings tend to be lower. Now, how many schools in Beaumont that closed? I'm gonna guess by 8, 9, maybe 10.
Wow.
But we progress. Let's go to three. Repeated governance failures and failure to meet state accountability standards.
Hmm.
Well, let's dive into that one real quick because I believe that one ain't really on us. That's more on the state, and I'm going to show you why.
Go
So
ahead.
little thing popped up around 2011, 2012 called the STAR test. It was created due to criticism from business groups and previous exams and Texas assessment of knowledge and skills.
Hmm.
Mm. That it was way too easy. Though
That's what
many
they claimed.
educators, even though many educators and some lawmakers and even board members argued that the STAR test is in fact too hard for many students and that the questions are often above their grade level.
Yes.
Now that sounds like a setup for failure to me. So I know my count, I ain't a mathematician or what diggity, but It sounds like at least two of those things was set up by the state. But hey, I'm not here to point fingers.
Yeah, yeah. Point
Which
them
means it's
fingers.
not just in our area, it's all over the state.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Correct.
they done took
Right.
over Houston
And,
already. Go Fort Worth,
Right. Dallas
Dallas. I
right.
think they knocking
Right.
on Austin
And let
door
us
too.
and San Antonio
and
do
let
as
us
well.
not also forget that if teachers' salary is connected to performance, then that increases the likelihood of fraudulent test taking.
Hmm.
Again, not an issue of the kids, but of the adults.
What'd you say? We ain't say.
And we have
I'm
and
just
we have documented proof that shows a correlation between when a teacher's performance and salary is connected to how their students perform on the test,
yes.
greater is the likelihood for fraudulent test taking.
Oh, I've seen it
Exactly.
firsthand in
Not on
Florida.
behalf of the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like you all said, it comes to a point. Um, you know, it comes to a point to where we have to at least acknowledge the realities, right? And just like Dustin said, by the time the announcement hits Facebook, decisions have already been made. The child been not knowing how to read since the third grade, right? So yeah, you got paperwork signed, and expectations have shifted, but you already were in the woods long before this takeover came about. If you're waiting on
Mm-hmm.
a press release, you you should have did that when you was in high school, parents. Who gonna pull up my shot?
I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Queen.
Ooh-wee.
So, what's the most misunderstood part of the state intervention that communities often don't realize until it's too late?
Um, it's about trajectory. From at least from what I see being engaged in quite a few school communities, right? As well as campus communities. Um, Once authority shifts, the question becomes who defines success? Um, who sets discipline? Who decides what kind of student is worth saving? The decision outlives superintendents and board members. I just want you to know that. I had a meeting on this evening where we identified solutions to some issues. And just like we've here on this show, we always come with solutions. And just like Dr. Campbell has said on this platform on many evenings, reaching back to the youth of tomorrow is definitely pertinent for our survival in the future. I made the analogy that I can't depend on Officer Wiltz after she's gotten aged and caught up with her. You know what I'm saying? She can't see as good as she used to. She can't hear as good as she used to. So we have to expose our community, our young community, our youth community to the very things and likenesses that we expect them to do. And we can't always wait on um, them to have A's and B's in school. We can't always wait for um, you know, their mom or their dad to get off of work. Call them and let them know, hey, I got little Timmy today. We about to go to the science fair that they hosting at, or I got Gina today. We about to go down to the old clock tower in downtown Beaumont and figure out what's all up in this building, see how this clock work. Or we're gonna go to the tour the Beaumont Police Department to see those things, how that operates. We're going to tour the library or the fire department. If you're not exposing these young individuals, it would matter whether they were living, I'm sorry, whether they were going to school for private school or public school. They still dumb and they still can't read. They still can't comprehend. They still can't write. They still can't sign a contract. Make that make sense. And some of these individuals are currently living in our society today, raising kids without having that knowledge themselves. So, like
So
I
I have a
said,
question.
mhm,
So then, would you say that the state intervention will fix the problem or
Yeah,
just take control of
I
it?
believe I believe that the state mandated takeover is going to set us back just like it did the first time they came.
Mhm.
The first time they came, they removed staff. The first time they came, they tried to remove the arts. I mean, like all of it, not just some of it, the arts,
Mhm.
all of it, band, music, choir, theater, the arts, all of it was
Even
supposed to be
even the
gone.
crafts, they took out auto shop,
Correct.
they
Correct.
took out construction shop, they took
Exactly.
everything. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't believe that the state takeover. Let me put it to you like this. I believe that the state takeover is just as effective as the United States um, pushing to change to do regime changes under our leadership. And all of them, and I do mean every last regime change by the United States have been piss poor.
Mm.
Um, Chat for y'all. I have a question. What do you believe this moment is really about? Just like Miss Cat asked me, do I believe that the state is good? But I want to know what y'all believe that this moment is really about. Is it about education? Is it about control? Is it about economics? Or is it about all of the above? Put a one in the chat for education, put a two in the chat for control, put a three in the chat for economics, and put four in the chat for all of them. And after you do that, drop your number and your role. Just like I asked y'all at the beginning, let us know what role you play in the community. I got a four in the chat. Actually, I got two fours in the chat. All of the above. Roundtable question number one. I definitely want to know from my table, from my crew, what argument from the other side deserves to be taken seriously, even if we don't agree with it. Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Well, one argument worth taking a serious look at is this. Some folks truly believe the system is so broken that outside intervention is the only way to force change. Not so. You don't have to agree with them, but it's a real concern. They're looking at years of dysfunction, slow fixes, and political infighting. And they think a heavy hand is the only thing that will shake things loose. It's the wrong solution. But
Correct.
the frustration behind it is real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Perry, you have the floor.
Um, I would, take what Dr. Campbell has said and also add just from a conservative viewpoint, which has always been that less spending uh uh helps. Less spending is good if there is less accountability, and let me sort of frame that. Uh, from a liberal standpoint, liberals tend to say let's put more money into programming, and that as if money can cure the ills. Uh, there would be some that would say Beaumont doesn't need to have less; we need more money. Uh, but when we begin to look at this just from a very practical business standpoint, I'm not saying that we need to that business is always correct, but from my years of having been involved on the social front, when we begin to take a real critical look at return on investment, then what we usually find in some cases is that yes, we are spending more for less output. And I think that that's hard for a lot of us because we'll say, well, if we can just save one, and I am for that from a very Christian standpoint, if I can just save one, then it makes it worthwhile. But if it's taking 100,000 for one, then is that effective for the other 99? Because I have to consider the other 99 in the process.
Correct.
And so I think that that's where a lot of this begins to, because as Dr. Campbell said, yeah, they'll begin to say, let's reallocate the funds. Well, now we know that reallocation of the fund doesn't just exclude us from the table. It shuts us it shuts us out the room.
Somebody say sounds like Trumpflation.
Yeah. And so I think what we have to be better at, in understanding that argument is really taking a truthful eye, as Dustin was saying earlier. If we've had financial mismanagement under our watch, we have to take responsibility for that. Whether we can explain some away or not, we came into this knowing, and we're doing our kids and our grandkids a discredit when we don't step up with the accountability to move this forward. Because it changes the scope of the conversation. Because now we're defending. When we already knew that there was not enough funds to go. I mean, have we taken a critical look at the vendors currently under the current administration at BISD? Is it equitable? If it wasn't equitable then, I mean, it's going to be even worse now. We know that. But were we as accountable to keeping the district accountable on its minority participation? I think all of that has to be analyzed and looked at.
Dustin, you have the floor.
All right, I'm about to hurt some people's feelings. All right, so I'm pretty sure at that age that most of y'all don't have children inside the school district. I do. I have 3. And let me tell you something. I don't care if it's from Carol Thomas to what's her name, Shannon something, whatever Shannon's last name is.
Allen.
I really don't care. There's been a trend going that whole time. Hey, let's blame the parents. Let's blame the parents for this. Okay, cool. Let's play a game. When I was in Florida in about 2006, 2008 time frame, they switched their entire school district over from using textbooks. BISD didn't do it to what? 10, 12 years after that? So they're behind. All right, cool. I don't know if y'all been inside the BISD school buildings within the last 5 years or so. Yeah, they can't even pressure wash the outside of them. So, all right, cool. Let's play again. All right. So on top of that, I don't agree with nothing BASD has to say about crap. I don't care about the state. I don't care what they got to say about it because none of them's gonna fix the issue because the issue is y'all basically just running a cycle. Y'all have schools full of lockers, but aren't allowing kids to use them. Why not just remove the lockers? Your buildings need to be painted. They need to be cleaned. They need to be pressure washed. You have several schools that have infestations of either rodents or bugs. You don't maintain your buildings as you're properly supposed to. So whenever you have a little storm or something come by, you just condemn the school altogether. Unless you like the school, Ozan, all of a sudden you can repair that one within a hurry, but you couldn't do it for Central and all these others. You keep closing schools thinking, oh, well, we don't have the attendance. You don't have the attendance because you don't have the educators. Oh, you speak of educators? Cool. I for a fact know that there's classes right now inside BSD that they haven't had a teacher show up yet. And their solution is we're going to have the teacher next door just come assign work.
Well, I did
You
hear
ain't
him say
saying
he fit
nothing
the
wrong because my
right.
son my son had a teacher when he was in school. And yeah, my son graduated in 2013. But this problem has been existing for a very long time. But he
Told
had a
y'all.
teacher that would show up. I mean, that would be absent for 89 days, and then he would come back on that 90th day to fulfill his contract because he could be absent 89 days
Consecutive.
consecutive. And they did have a substitute, but that substitute was not up in that core subject because it was a core subject. Consequently,
Yeah,
those children didn't learn anything that year because every 89 days that teacher was out for 89 days. So the
oh
problem
man.
it's been long before Shannon Allen got there.
But
Correct.
my problem is y'all want to say, oh, people should show up to the school board meeting. Why? So they can just lie to your face? You show up, they're gonna hit you with that hum haw. Oh, we doing this, we doing that. I've been watching y'all for the last 10 plus years. Y'all ain't been doing nothing. Y'all can't even put fresh paint. Hell, y'all can't even get the students to do a program and paint the school themselves.
Even when the parents came up there, because I know I was up there and very vocal about the situation. I didn't understand how he could keep a job and be gone that much from the school. You know
Teachers
how?
union.
Huh.
Same way the play in y'all face, so does this teachers union. Ignoring academic failure hurts kids 100%. Ignoring the danger of
Mm-hmm.
centralized control also hurts kids. If we can't hold truths, we're not serious about solutions at all. That's why Dustin said, I don't want to hear nothing y'all talk about because y'all been having this same feigned repetition for 10 plus years. Again, I'm going to say you've graduated individuals who cannot read. I didn't say you retained them. I said you graduated these individuals who cannot read.
Or do math.
You graduated these individuals that do not understand math concepts. I did not say math. I said math concepts. You
Concept.
graduated individuals who cannot comprehend whether it's hands on, auditory, or Kenso type learning. You failed this community, this city for generations. Again, like I said, the most most of the parents that that had those issues, I'm sorry, most of the students that had those issues at the time are currently parents. And you cannot
Mm-hmm.
expect them to have correction for their child's education when they don't even know what correction look like.
Well, Chris, can
So,
I ask this? Is
mhm.
it possible to have a public class action lawsuit?
Shit, need one.
I asked that. Let me preface that. I believe it was a young Caucasian girl out of North Carolina who got accepted into an Ivy League school because she had, I think, a 4.6 or a
Oh, I
4.7
remember that.
grade point
Mhm.
average.
Mhm.
And when she got there, she realized that she really didn't know how to read. She didn't know. And so, is it possible?
Yes, sir, it is. And let me
I
tell you
mean,
how much so.
I know, man. I know you was happy to see man cross the stage, and man had a cum laude, and you didn't even know if he knew the Lord. Not alone, thank you, Lord.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
is
Yes,
pure negligence.
and this isn't legal advice to anybody, but yes,
Right,
residents can definitely sue whoever they want in a class action. You
right,
understand that?
right.
You can sue. You could definitely sue the city. I'm sorry, the Beaumont Independent School District, TEA, and Texas.
State of
All in
Texas,
the
state
same.
of Texas.
Yes, all in the same WAP. Because Tony, Miss Cat dropped. She just fell. Pick her back up for me if you don't mind. Um, but on several different occasions, because in two districts there was without representation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and y'all, like Dustin say, y'all might get mad at me. And y'all already know I don't give no dams. Stacey Lewis Jr. left his seat vacant in BISD. And then afterwards, didn't come back to the community and say, hey, I would like to appoint, or go to the board and say, y'all need to appoint. But he was no longer a resident of Beaumont or the district that he was supposed to be representing. Strike number two, I have a dead representative, a deceased representative for my district. So for that period of time, till whenever the board of managers are installed, mind you, Yolanda Avery was elected in that position, but that was a vacant seat because nobody was appointed. And if I'm lying, I'm flying, and I'm still seated. Three, just like it's been said, we pay taxes for expectations, don't we?
Mhm.
And if our expectations have not been met based on the amounts of money that we have spent into this space, or been taxed by this space, our return of investment is not what we're getting.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're getting a dumbed down community. Even if they do graduate from high school and pursue college, they're overwhelmed once they get in there. And it has nothing to do whether or not they get education at home, because I'm sick of that too. I'm sick of y'all saying that too. I'm so sick of that. Power shots. I think it's time for a shot. I think it's time for a shot. Perry, what responsibility does local leadership still carry even when the state steps in? And where has that responsibility been avoided or delayed?
uh, Ultimately, the responsibility of leaders really is to our children.
Hmm.
Plain and simple. And we have got to address that if the state, county, or the city doesn't do a damn thing for us and doesn't give us a damn dime, it does not relieve us of our responsibility to our children
Mm-hmm.
and to our community. Especially those of us from a community who came from so few. We are the generation that was birthed out of uh separate but unequal, and so it's never been equal in our lifetime. But the fact that we have lost so much of what we invested into ourselves, much of what we talk about in our communities, much of what my generation still holds true to their heart about the South End, about the Pear Orchard, about the North End, ain't had a damn thing to do with what came from the city coffers.
Wow. Wow.
And now here we are at a point where we have nothing to give to a generation.
Wow.
I would say this. I mean, we're talking about this in this time now where TEA is about to take over. I mean, can we be creative and start some clubs?
Hmm.
Used to be we had chess clubs, and I mean we may still have chess club. I wasn't in the chess club. I learned from a chess club dropout.
They still
Uh,
exist.
I learned
Yeah,
chess
they
from a
still there.
chess club dropout. But if we are committed to our kids, what's stopping us from creating a car enthusiast club where we can create some general mechanic skills? What's
Yeah.
what's wrong with starting a Fortnite club where we begin to teach kids strategy instead of using chess, we use the tools that are applicable to their generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong with us creating outside uh community clubs to attract kids? We keep saying, well, what's for our kids? Well, what can we offer our kids?
Right.
What are we giving our kids to help move them forward in the here and now?
Right.
That doesn't have a damn thing to do with BISD or the state of Texas
Hmm.
in educating and preparing them for the future.
Yeah. I mean, like I totally agree. Accountability doesn't transfer; it accumulates, and the things that we should have been accumulating to share over time, from like your generation, generations before yours, those accumulations should be at least ours to share at this moment, right?
Mhm.
And in the position to hand over some of those same accumulations, um, to the next generation, right? So that they can then share those accumulations, because it's always doing this. It's never going out. It's always doing. It's
Yeah,
accumulating. I didn't say
yeah,
expenditures. I said accumulate. And so,
right, right.
the state stepping in doesn't erase local decisions that lead us, that actually led us here. So, just like you said, it's going to take those things. It's going to take out of the box thinking, out of the building
Right,
engagement, um, you know, in order to get us to a place where we need to be.
right. Chris, and to that point, let me add that the fact that we didn't offer anything to accumulate uh really uh sent forth an idea, or really perpetuated the
Hmm.
idea that our communities have nothing to offer.
Hmm.
No one had to say that. We didn't offer it ourselves, and it perpetuate it.
Period.
That
Doctor.
grows into our kids.
My bad, Tony. Doctor Campbell is probably backstage. I'm sorry. I just noticed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It perpetuates a myth to our kids that they have nothing to offer.
Hmm. Man, Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yep.
When when does frustration with the system turn into dangerous disengagement?
All right. So it turns into danger disengagement because once it becomes a few warning signs pop up. One, behavioral shift from quiet withdrawal, depression, inattentive, to becoming disruptive, acting out and
Mm,
whatnot like that,
mm,
rule breaking. Then there's academic decline, missing class, showing up late, missing
mm,
work, coming to school when you feel like it, things
mm,
like that. Then there's emotional changes, increased anger, isolation, hopelessness, and significant mood swings. Social disconnection comes after that.
mm.
Withdrawal from your peers,
Right.
negative interactions, seeking belonging in risky groups. After that, loss of relevance, inability to see how school connects to real life or anything outside of the classroom. Those, and then it becomes real dangerous once the stress start, the externalizing the actions, the fights, the brouhahas kick up, the criminal actions start becoming,
Did he say the brouhahas?
the brouhahas. Then
Yes.
then the criminal actions and disregard for high risk activities start. Bringing the smokes to school, dealing drugs on campus.
Right.
Bringing weapons.
Right.
All those shenanigans.
Man. 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 I mean, like, I could remember some of those same instances when I was in school. Um, of course, like for me, it was it was either I do right or I have, not just in home chastisement that I had to worry about. RIP to one of my favorite principals, Miss Como, um, which was probably the only principal that could chastise me like I was hers. Um, so yeah, I mean, like you said, there comes a moment where there's relationship has to be built, right? And all of those things, objectives that you mentioned, Dustin, is the trap. I mean, like, we hear about the trap on the street, but the trap is in the school. I mean, you will definitely go to jail for a very long time for having drugs or a weapon on and or around a school campus. So, disengagement feels like self protection, but it actually opens the door wider for decisions to be made without you. So, I just definitely want neighbors, parents, community to realize that our children is definitely expecting us to step up in their favor, become their biggest fan. Just like you geeked up and all running out of everywhere to watch the Super Bowl, that's the same attention that our children are asking from you. Tony, I don't know if you heard me, but Dr. Campbell is in the background. I mean, backstage. She says she can't call you because it's gonna do something. So if you could bring Dr. Campbell up, bring Dr. Campbell back up for us, please, sir. Thank you. Um, of course, Dr. Campbell's shot is how do communities challenge leadership without tearing down the very structures students still rely on? Go ahead, Dr. Campbell.
Communities don't have to burn the house down to fix the wiring. Okay.
Hmm.
The key is simple: challenge the people, protect the structure, call out bad decisions, like Dustin was saying, not the mission. Demand transparency without trashing the schools the kids still need.
Hmm.
Replace leaders who won't listen, not programs families depend on. And you can build parallel community power, watchdog groups, parent councils, budget monitors, so the system can't operate in the dark. You push hard on the leadership so the structure can actually serve students, not the other way around.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, no taxation without representation. That's grown folk work. I definitely want y'all to understand that. Dr. Campbell mentioned to you all challenging or challenge without destruction. That's all you got to do is challenge it. Their instructions is wrote out for them to follow. All we got to do is read the instructions back to them. It's not that hard. Pressure without abandonment. How about it? That's the muscle we haven't really flexed yet because we haven't exercised it enough. Perry, you ready for your shot? Oh no, it's
Yes,
my shot. It's my shot. Okay, give me my shot. Who gonna give
Your
me my
shot.
shot? Pull me up, man.
what does accountability look like when everyone shares the blame, not just the loudest target?
Um, Accountability isn't about punishment. It's about course correction. It's about you know how we fix this. How do we prepare the next generation? How do we make sure that these things do not come against us again and we are not prepared? It's gonna come because of the society and government that we live in. But the question is about being prepared when it does come, and knowing that um, knowing that correction requires participation, um, not just opinion. So if they're ready to course correct for their benefit, then we definitely have to meet their course corrections for our necessity and our benefit. Because again, if we stop paying the taxes, guess what happens to all schools in BISD, including BISD? Chat question number 2. Who has the most influence over what happens next? Put a 1 in the chat for the state, put a 2 in the chat for the district, put a 3 in the chat for the board, or put a 4 in the chat for the community. I want you to drop your number and your city. Let us know where you listening to us from. Go ahead, drop that in the chat. I'm supposed to put that in the chat. Roundtable question. What responsibilities does the community hold regardless of how this ruling lands? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
The community's responsibility doesn't change with with or without a takeover. I'm gonna say that again.
Hmm.
The community's responsibility does not change with or without a takeover. It's to say the community should stay organized, stay informed, stay loud about what the students deserve. That means showing up, asking hard questions, tracking the money, and refusing to let decisions happen in the dark. Takeover
Mm-hmm.
or not, the community's job is to protect the kids' futures, not wait for someone else to do it.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Perry, you got the floor.
Uh, what we're doing? I thought we were doing the power shot. We're not doing
Oh,
power
this
shot.
the no,
Okay.
this the round table, second round table question.
Okay. Um. Again, I go back. It holds a responsibility to the students, regardless. To as a parent, our ultimate goal is to have our children feel secure, that they are in a safe environment, whether that's at home, whether that's on their block, that's in their community or their street. And that's just not physical safety, but that's the safety of a progressive future.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we all had. We all had the safety of making choices and even seeing those choices not come to fruition.
Hmm.
Uh we're dealing now with I mean, in Beaumont, and maybe it has become the norm, which is dangerous. The alarming rate of our kids who are being unalived by each other or by their own hand
Hmm.
speaks to a level of concern that I'm not sure that grown-ups have met in this moment. And that is a safety concern. That is an environmental concern
Hmm.
because that spreads. That illness spreads. Whether we want to call it mental illness or whatever, it becomes an epidemic in our communities when kids don't see a future. And I
Hmm.
think that that's something that we have got to take seriously. That there is no amount of legislature, there is no amount of money, there is no policy. It requires us coming together as a community for the well being and holistic growth of our children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dustin, you got the floor.
Yeah, I'm a little contrary to what most people say. I think there's no need to escalate or increase anything on the community. The community has been doing this job forever. It's time for that. What was that? Decades and decades and hold on, excuse me, let me look again. Yeah, decades of tax dollars to kick in. We've been paying for schools to be good. Why aren't they? We've been paying for the city to have community centers and all these activity event centers and a YMCA, a Boys and Girls Club. We've been paying taxes for all that to come to fruition forever, and it ain't. So where the money at? What you been spending it on? Cause you dang sure ain't spending it on what you need to be spending on.
Hmm.
Because the schools
Was
are
that
falling
included in the
apart.
bond?
Oh hell with the bond. The hell with the bond.
Just asking. Curious minds want to know. I mean, you know.
Nah, this didn't even need to be voted on. This should have been done.
Golly, man.
Yeah. You
I mean,
got
like, go
you
ahead,
you
Dustin.
talking
My
about you
bad.
transition to Chromebooks. Most of the Chromebooks are either broke or barely working. Schools, you can't even find a classroom. You can't find two classrooms with the same temperature. And they don't even control the thermostat. So how is that possible?
I was about to say, wait, ain't that controlled at the district?
It is.
Golly. Sound like somebody needs some free on somewhere.
Sure. AC duct cleaner or something.
Man, man, I like I said, we paid well enough into a system that still has not returned of our investment, and that's just ours. Let's think about Miss Cat and her generation, or Perry and his, because they're the same age. Or let's think about when Miss Cat and them was in school. How about it? Or when their parents were in school. Golly, and we're looking at, like you said, Dustin, where you've eradicated their parents' school, the school after. Yeah, man. Um, for me, it's plain for me. It's like a Van Gogh painting for me. You can't outsource stewardship. Period. I, I don't care what's going on. You can't outsource stewardship. And I've heard my co-host say this on several shows, including this evening. You cannot expect somebody to come into your house and clean up your house better than you. That's, that's not going to happen. That's not how that's supposed to work. That's not how that's supposed to go. Especially if you are not paying those individuals adequately to clean up your house. If the state leaves, responsibility should stay. If the state says responsibility still stays, watching is not an option, y'all. And that's what most of us been doing, watching, waiting, tapping on keyboards, not toward the right people. You're not addressing the members that you elect. You are not addressing. And like I said, for me, I haven't had representation since the election. And others haven't had representation longer than that. That's crazy. But yet, people in my district are still being taxed by BISD. People in the other district that went without representation until there was somebody elected. Um, same goes for them. Same goes for them. Watching is not optional, because you keep watching, it's gonna swallow you. I promise you. And I'm not trying to sound like Bishop T.D. Jakes to be swallowed up. I ain't never. But Dr. Campbell, give us something that's gonna last us for the rest of the week, please, ma'am.
Okay. Let's see here.
We had one more. I do want our listeners and viewers to know that we had one more question, and we had three more power shots, but we're at the top of the hour. And I'm trying to be respectful to your time and my co-hosts as well. So yeah, Dr. Campbell, you'll give us something to last us for the rest of the week, please, ma'am.
The community just needs to recognize and remember that power shifts fast, but communities lose only when they stop paying attention. So stay alert, stay organized, and stay in the fight.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big bro, you got the floor.
As a close, I do want to take a moment to remember uh, Claudette Colt. And if
I'm sorry.
any of you don't know Claudette Colt, I'm sorry. Just want to take a moment to, as we leave, let us all remember uh, the family of Claudette Colvin. And if you don't know who Claudette Colvin was actually uh, the forerunner of Rosa Parks. She was the first uh, black woman to not give up her seat on a bus in Alabama. The reason why many of us don't know Claudette's story is because when she was arrested, Claudette had other things in her life. She was a single mother. She was an unwed parent, and so we see that even today when we look at Rachel Good
Mm.
and her stance, and where we see the government now trying to vilify her in her stance. So I just want us to remember her, that no matter where we are in this fight, that standing for our fight will be remembered.
Yes, indeed.
Even if the history books don't remember it,
Yes,
we will
indeed.
remember.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that for sure. Dustin, you have the floor.
Well, I ain't really got a word of the week, a phrase of the week, but I'm gonna take one off the little red hat folks that like to go around saying dumb stuff. I'm gonna go with instead of MAGA, let's go with MEGA, MEGA, make
Mega.
education great again.
Come on with it.
I like it.
That's all I'm saying. Stop altering the history books. I don't care who feels guilty about what you look. If you feel guilty, so what? You didn't do it. Somebody else did. Shut up and learn your lesson. And everybody else need to learn too. Stop altering history. Stop with this new math. Because if I can still do the old math and get to the number faster than you do the new math, it ain't new math. It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
Goodness gracious. And show people what a real map look like. Because I'm sick and tired of y'all playing this Mandela effect crap. Like this map has always been the map that's always been. Now, I remember the original map. Matter of fact, I own one. And if you come here trying to get it, I'm going to shoot you. That Africa is bigger than all these
Bigger,
other
way
countries.
bigger, way bigger.
But,
Way
due
bigger.
to the Christian and Catholic faith, they decided to make their territory bigger and, propaganda, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, teach real history.
Did you say
Yeah,
white Christian?
you know it.
Oh,
And
okay. I thought
Catholic.
that's what
Don't leave them out. But that's cool. And while I'm on that note of making education great again, hey, Egyptian people, y'all black. End of the day. Get it together. Maybe y'all ain't learn that part of history. It's cool. Y'all be all right. And guess what you also are? You're Africans. Because you're connected to the continent of Africa.
they say they part of the UE. Huh?
I don't
That's
care what they say they are. I've been to the UE. I also been to the Horn of Africa.
that part.
And I've been to Egypt.
See what
Man.
I'm raising up.
Yeah. And a lot of them black too.
Come on, black
But
Indians.
we ain't gonna talk about that. But nobody know what they look like no more. I guess people start
Mistaken
hanging out in the sun.
identity, man.
You know, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, remember, MEGA, MEGA, make education great again.
Mega.
Meg.
I love it. I love it. Here's where I land, y'all. And as always, I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in with us on this evening. Um, what we have to build is more than community, right? We definitely have to build participation with discipline. And that goes for intergenerationals. It wouldn't matter what your gen alphabet number is. And so um parents who show up before crisis, We need y'all 100%. Our voters who take school board elections seriously. I need y'all to train other people or engage with other people, become um, politically savvy in particular spaces. I need you as a not just a voter, but I need you as an educated voter. I need you as a precinct chair. I didn't ask you what party you're a part of, because what we're going to do as community and as we build community is hold whoever elected, whoever is appointed, accountable to our not only expectations that we pay for, but the standard that we set, especially here in the city of Beaumont, being the oldest space to educate Negroes in the entire state of Texas. Beaumont is extremely significant when it comes to education, let alone educating Negroes, y'all. And if we can't hold the buck to where it is, where it started, we are piss poor in our own selves. And we can't leave or have great expectations for the children when two, you're disengaged, and so is the education that they're receiving in the four walls, that you have no idea of what's going on. Leaders who expect oversight, not applause. I need you. Step to the front. We need you to volunteer in PTA. Join the PTA. Join your PTA. That's the only organization I know that's in schools that got teeth to position not only schools but children and parents and communities for those same things that Dr. Campbell asked about, a class action lawsuit. PTA. Communities that understand funding, mandates, and consequences. Step to the front. I need you to be dispersed throughout the entire city, because you have the idea, you have the know-how, you have the understanding, and not only that, you got the money to create the very thing that Perry mentioned on tonight's show. These programs, these groups, these organizations, they do not have to be in the schools in order for our children to participate in it. Make it make sense. Power doesn't just take over, y'all. Power fills a vacuum. Family, and here's what I want you to know and what I want you to carry throughout the rest of the week. Number one, learn who represents you on the school board and what they voted on. Number two, and if that seat is vacant, that means they are taxing you without representation. Mind you, currently, if I'm not mistaken, we have nobody appointed as a board of trustee or a board representative being appointed by the state. Do we? I'm asking. Do we have anybody?
They put out some links where you can
Applications.
sign up.
So we are still, again, being taxed without representation. And this time it's more than just me. It's all y'all. Number three, talk to one young person and listen without defending the system. No panic, no shaming, just responsibility. That isn't just about this is not about a takeover. This is not about a takeover. This is how we grow into the kind of community that can be vigilant in our power and won't be quietly overran by anybody, let alone a government. Everybody mad, but no one is questioning how we got here. The other question you should be asking is who's watching, especially if you're not. Again, y'all, You already know. Stay vigilant, stay accountable, stay respectful. And as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Good night.